once again, give states like Taiwan recognition that Taiwan has its own elections, its own currency, controls its own airspace, and has its own military force. It is time. Once again, give states like Taiwan recognition that they can meaningfully engage in global processes and share their best practices, even as China and Taiwan have their own differences. And while this is being addressed, climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic are stark reminders that Taiwan should not be left off the discussions. Taiwan has its own elections, its own currency, controls its own airspace, and has its own military force. A population of 24 million people is too many to be left off the table. As we mark 75 years, the continued exclusion of Taiwan calls into question the very principles the UN was established on. We must also recognize, as the world grapples with COVID-19 pandemic, Taiwan has demonstrated impressive leadership, not just by their own success with managing the spread, but coming to the aid of nations such as St. Lucia and other countries to provide medical resources and technical advice. We must leave no one behind. No people, no country should be allowed to fall through the cracks. St. Lucia would have never done as well as we did with managing the pandemic without friends like the people of Taiwan and Cuba. As I speak to you today, St. Lucia has only recorded 27 cases with no deaths. We have reopened our country to visitors. We've learned to coexist with COVID-19. I'm equally proud of the success record that many SIDS have had. Like many other nations, we are thankful that despite their own difficulties, Taiwan and Cuba have reached out to help the world.
We have seen firsthand Taiwan's exemplary management of the pandemic within its own borders, and we have been impressed, quite frankly, by its willingness to help vulnerable states all around the world. Taiwan has assisted many states in combating this unprecedented health pandemic by sending more than 51 million surgical masks, as well as other medical equipment, to more than 80 countries. My hope is that Taiwan can be included in the UN system, particularly the WHO, its meeting, its mechanisms and activities, thereby improving the global response and resources available to address transboundary crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic. The exclusion of Taiwan, its experience, its expertise and resources, the World Health Organization can only benefit from the inclusion of such a worthy member.
Similar vein, the constructive and pragmatic intergovernmental engagement of Taiwan as a responsible advocate for sustainable development and an exemplar of the magnificent Chinese civilization validates the case for Taiwan's meaningful participation in the specialized agencies and bodies of the United Nations.